Welcome to our launch event. We're really delighted that you've been able to join, and we're really excited to start talking about this programme. You might have started hearing about us in the paper, on social media, and word of a green and healthy future for Frome has been bubbling away for some time, but we are now getting going, so we'll tell you all about it. So by way of introduction, this programme is a partnership programme, and there's 3 partners who are involved. There's Adventure, there's Frome Medical Practice, and there's Frome Town Council. And as a programme, we're funded by the National Lottery Community Fund, and we're also going to be heavily shaped by you. There's such a strong place at the heart of the programme for community ideas, community involvement, community ownership of large parts of this programme, and we want your input in all parts of the programme. And we'll be telling you a bit more about how you can do that today. So you might want to meet the team, and obviously we would love to be doing this in person, and we have high hopes to be able to meet in person in the near future. But so that you can get a sense of who is involved in the Green and Healthy Future for Frome programme team, there are some familiar faces. So lots of you will recognise Johannes from Adventure, Peter at the council, and Jenny and Dr. Kingston at the medical practice. But then there's also some new faces, and we make up the everyday project team. So there's me, I'm Hannah Bird, and I'm the project and communications manager, working across all the partners of the programme. I've got 3 fantastic new colleagues at the town council, and you'll hear from them shortly. So we've got Nikki Brain, Emma Parker, and V Wignall, part of the team. And then Charlotte Carson, who has joined the medical practice and is also part of our team. In addition, we've got some fantastic board members and advisors, and again, familiar faces for lots of folks in town. So Mel Usher, Peter McFadden, and Sheila Gore. But then we also have places for some additional members of the community, and we would love to fill these. So could this be you? These are 2 places that we would like to fill. We would love to have diverse representation of our vibrant community of Frome in terms of age, ability, disability, background. So we really do invite people to think about whether you would like to join our board. And if you're interested in learning more about the commitment and what's involved, then send a message to greenhealth@adventurefrome.org, and that link will be coming into the chat very shortly. I'm assisted ably here by my fantastic colleague, Lisa. So give that a think and message us after you've heard a bit more about the programme. But before we dive into telling you a bit more about what we've got planned, we really want this to be a 2-way conversation today to set the tone for our whole programme. And so there's going to be a few times during this afternoon's launch where we ask you to interact with us. And there's a couple of ways we'll do that. The first way we're going to do that is by using an app called Slido. Once you've got to our poll, we're going to put 4 questions to you that really give you a sense of the kind of challenge that we're trying to tackle via the Green and Healthy Futures programme. So we're going to ask you 4 questions, and this is the first one. We're asking you how many trees you think we'd need to plant to absorb Frome's current carbon emissions. And the right answer is 38 million. So the 26% of you who got that right, big pat on the back. And for the rest of you, just fascinating to think through, 38 million trees to absorb the carbon emissions in Frome. So next question. Bringing it right into Frome, which street in Frome has the worst air quality? Is it Christchurch Street? Is it Monmouth Drive? Or is it Portway? Have a think. As you're walking through the streets of town, where do you notice the pollution? Where do you notice the worst of the emissions? And I can show you the answers now. So this one, you've smashed it. 2/3 of people getting it right. It's Portway, according to the air sensors that are up around town on these streets and that are tracking the air quality in these places. And that's an initiative started, supported by the council, I know, and using tiny devices that were made in town. Next question, how many households in Frome live in fuel poverty? There's a rough estimate here, but do you think it's 750, 1,200 or 2,000? So these are some of the questions that are challenging us in the programme team. We're thinking about emissions, but we're also thinking about whether people are warm enough to start with. And the right answer, lots of you got it right. It's 1,200 folks living amongst us, our neighbours, and even some of you may be living in fuel poverty. And our fourth and final question, bringing it right up to the minute and thinking about the impact of the pandemic on our town, how many more people in Mendip were claiming universal credit in March 2021, a couple of months ago, versus March 2020? Do you think there was an extra 25%, double the number, or triple the number? And it was double, so more than half of you getting it right. Double the number of folks, roughly 3,000, claiming universal credit in March last month compared to a year ago. So real impact of the pandemic there. And all these questions are really on our minds as we set off at the start of the Green and Healthy Futures programme. And we're really aware that we've got a super positive opportunity to do something on lots of these fronts if we focus on trying to make our town and our world greener and healthier. We think there's a real link between the two. And we know, for example, that in the UK as a whole, if we were to achieve our existing climate commitments that our politicians, our representatives have signed us up to, there could be some real health benefits, as well as good benefits for the planet, for communities affected by climate change, and so on. And these start to really add up. So we could see that we could save 5,700 and more lives a year if air quality improved. By improving the rates of people getting more physically active, we could save 38,000 lives. And by improving the health of people's diets, we could save another 100,000 lives. And bringing it really close into Frome, if Frome is able to meet its zero carbon commitments, we could create an additional 840 jobs here, it's estimated. And we think we could also draw in another £42 million for the local economy. So this helps us live in a place that's good for us as people, that enables us to live healthy lives, enables us to have a positive impact on the planet, and enables people to get on in enterprise, in activities that are good for them and good for the world. And it's this philosophy that's really at the heart of our programme. We want to support and enable more activities that are good for our planet and good for us. And as part of the Green and Healthy Future for Frome programme, we are working on lots of initiatives, lots of activities that really fall in the middle of this Venn diagram between these two things. So we'll talk you through each of these in a moment. These are our 5 new initiatives coming to Frome. We've got the Cycle Together programme, the Healthy Homes project, the Future Shed, the Green Community Connectors, and Choosing Wisely. And we'll talk you through each of these in just a moment. We think that if we're putting energy into these things, we'll be working on achieving a greener and healthier future for our town. But we know that we build on a really rich amount of community effort where people are already doing lots of green and healthy things. And so we're using this launch event as a moment to really capture your thoughts, your, what you're thinking about, what comes to mind for you when you think about what you might be doing already that's good for you, good for your well-being, and also good for the planet. And we also want to ask you about barriers, because we've got a real opportunity in this programme to design things and offer things and work in partnership with people in the town to ensure that we are overcoming barriers that stop people living healthier and greener lives if they want to. So I'm going to ask you both those questions now. And again, we're going to use Slido. What do you do already that's good for your well-being and good for the planet? And we'll start to see people's responses flowing up through the screen. So if you're not able to get on Slido, just have a think and you'll be able to sit back and look and see what your fellow folks of Frome are already doing that's good for well-being and good for the planet. So lots of fantastic activities here, and this gives me such hope and such joy for our town. Lots of walking instead of cars, lots of thought about what people eat, swapping the car for a bike. Lots of discussion of gardening. And we're really delighted as a project team to be working in a town that already has such rich activity. We want to build on that, build on a really strong foundation to build a really strong program. And then the next question that we're asking today is, what do you think gets in the way of living a healthier and greener life in Frome? What are the barriers that you face? So lots of mention of finance, cost, challenges with a lack of belief that people can't make a difference. Being reliant on cars, finding it very difficult to shift away from that, very understandable reasons. Traffic, time, lots of very understandable challenges. And we want to be really, really mindful of these as we develop the new initiatives that we are bringing to the town and also developing with you here in town. So thank you for helping us set the scene here. We're aware of some big challenges, and I know that questions of threats to our environment can really cause a lot of anxiety. Likewise, concern about threats to health, one of the biggest things that we worry about. And that's a very universal worry. And so we're really hoping that we can offer something positive to Frome and develop it with you all that enables us to do something about this that's really positive. So now we're going to hear from the wider project team a little bit more about each of the initiatives themselves. And first of all, I'm going to pass to my colleague Emma Parker at the Town Council, and she can tell you more about her thoughts and plans for Cycle Together. Emma, go ahead.
Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, so Cycle Together, participants of that scheme will be loaned an e-bike for 4 weeks, which will be completely free. And then alongside that, they get 6 hours of cycle sessions with a cycle instructor as well. And the cycle instructor will tailor the sessions to the group that are there at the time. So they might be developing confidence riding on the roads and using gears or signalling and positioning. It might be trying out a new commute to work together. If the group is already comfortable riding on the road, it might be finding some safer routes around town. So it will be totally tailored by each group. And so what we hope from this is that having a bike for a whole month, which also comes with panniers and a lock and lights, a helmet and a high vis. So they've got the whole kit to get going for a whole month, and they've also got the support of the cycle instructor and the other group members at the same time. So we really hope it gives people a flavour of living with a bike and using it for everyday journeys, and starts to work towards whether people can fit that into their daily lives and maybe start to change a few behaviours if possible. So that's Cycle Together in a very quick nutshell.
Thank you, Emma. So taking on some of Frome's hills with the borrowing of an e-bike and learning lots of skills as we go, it's a really exciting strand. So now I'm going to pass to Nikki, who can tell us about our next.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the Healthy Homes project very briefly. So the Healthy Homes project is being led by Frome Town Council in partnership with the medical practice and also with the Centre for Sustainable Energy, or the CSE for short. So we'll be using data provided by CSE to identify households in Frome that might be at risk of cold and damp related illness due to the energy efficiency of their homes or other aspects of their home energy. So we'll be sending a letter to those households, followed up with a call from the medical practice to provide information about the advice and support that's available through CSE's free energy advice service. So the kind of support that's available from CSE includes things like improving energy efficiency in homes through insulation or a new heating system, simple advice on preventing damp and mold, kind of using heating controls and things in the home, understanding eligibility for grants and benefits and supporting people through the process of actually finding out how to apply for those, and things like switching energy tariffs. So the second part of the project is that we'll be offering training about home energy to up to 300 people in Frome. So this will be available to anyone who's interested in what they can do in their own homes, and is also willing to share information with their neighbours and their social networks. And we'll also have the opportunity to train a team of home energy volunteers who are willing to support things like drop-in advice sessions and home visits. So if you're interested in either receiving free advice and support from CSE, or if you're interested to attend some training or to become a volunteer, we'll be sharing how to sign up for more details at the end of the event.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nikki. And you'll also see the fantastic Lisa putting links in the chat as we go. So if you know you want to email Nikki about this straight away, her email's there in the chat. Next up, we're going to hear from our colleagues at the medical practice. So I'm passing to Charlotte, who can tell us more about Green Community Connectors.
Hi everyone. Yes, today is the official opening of the free training sessions that we will be holding from the medical practice through Health Connections Mendit. And this is a training session for everyone in Frome, for anyone. We'll be reaching out to individuals, to group or community leaders, young people, old people, climate experts, even the skeptics are welcome to come and join us. The course won't cover too much of the facts and figures of the climate crisis or health statistics, but it will be focusing on the power of conversation within the community and the capacity that we have as a community to make these positive choices for our health and our planet. So the training will join together and then be able to go out into the community to make everyday conversation or specific signposting, and that will be to existing projects and even new projects that will be coming from this. And the Green Community Connectors will be permeating that energy through the town and spreading the win-win of healthy people and a healthy planet. So you can sign up on the link that will be shared at the end or with Lisa, and I'll see you in one of the training sessions. Look forward to it. Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you, Charlotte. And now we're going to Dr. Helen Kingston, also at the medical practice, and she can tell you about this exciting part of the programme as well, choosing wisely.
So we're also going to be working at the practice to create resources to train our clinical teams and the whole practice here around the value of taking a green approach to managing health and the benefits of that, and creating literature to support getting that message across to all our patients. So trying to take each opportunity of contact that we have to promote people to lead healthier lives, help them and support them to make those healthy choices, and for us to work with our patients to reduce the amount of unnecessary medications that might be of less value, to reduce the number of medical tests that we're doing where those tests are not adding value, and to really focus on getting the basics right and supporting people to be active, have a healthy diet, maintain a healthy weight, and tap into the networks of support in the community to lead healthier and more fulfilling lives.
Thank you, Helen. So as you can see, 4 really exciting activities that the other partners here of the programme are working on together, and it's such an exciting time to be working across the GP practice, the council, and from us based in Adventure, working as one team to really offer these schemes to the town. But that really is just the start. Those parts of the programme really have the health and planet win-win built into them from the start, but there is big space in this programme for the people of town to shape what else happens and what else comes out of our opportunity here. And that's where I can talk to you about the Future Shed. The Future Shed is going to be a part of our programme that at the moment has much less planned for it, has much less of an idea of exactly what will fill it, but we want to create a space where your ideas can fill the Future Shed. So in a moment, we're going to have quite a large portion of our launch dedicated to breaking you out into smaller groups where you can contribute your ideas. We'll start to develop ideas and partnerships yourselves, which we can then support in the Future Shed, enabling a really community-led heartbeat of our programme. The kinds of things I'm going to invite you to think about are described on this slide. So I want you to sit back for a moment and imagine Frome in 2030. Our town is full of healthy and green opportunities. It's easy to be healthy, it's easy to be green. You don't even have to think about it. It's what you're automatically doing. And as a result, it feels good to live here for everyone. Our town has a positive impact on the planet. What would you see as you walk the streets or visit a neighbour? What will be normal here? What would you take part in as a local resident? It's ideas about these things and really practical changes, even if they're small, that adding up across town could start to make a really big difference and could really contribute to a healthy, greener future for us that we can see tangibly, practically, and in real life on the streets of our town and the homes of our town in 2030. So in a moment, we're going to open breakout rooms and we're going to ask you to share practical, green and healthy ideas that you might have had for some time, that you're hatching now. And these are ideas that we would love to capture today. And if you really have the energy, the time, the interest in being a part of making that idea come to fruition, come to life, we invite you to form groups and to make connections that could enable you to get that idea off the ground. I'll tell you a little bit more about what we will do with your ideas and what the opportunity is if you have one. So as I've mentioned, the Future Shed, it will be powered by your ideas. It will be filled by the ideas of the people of Frome. And our vision for it is that it becomes a real hub for community-led activities that are good for people and good for the planet and fun, and that really mainstream healthy approaches and greener approaches to living life. What will happen if you share an idea? So For people with an idea right now, and especially while we can't meet in person, we have a real focus on making it possible to share ideas and capture ideas in one place. So we've already for some weeks had an online ideas board live. It will be live after this event as well. And that's where we're inviting people to post their ideas after today. And as people bring ideas to us, we are able to matchmake those ideas if they're just an idea, but they don't kind of have a full plan related to them. We're able to use our networks at Adventure to matchmake popular ideas with people or local groups who can take them forward. And there's always space for whoever's idea it is to be really firmly involved in that activity. For people who've got quite a firm idea and just need some support to actually make it happen and get it off the ground, we at Adventure can offer startup advice and coaching. We can offer co-working space and meeting space that you might need in order to get your idea going, and help making local connections. Maybe that's all you need to actually turn an idea from an idea to a real workshop activity or production line, whatever it is that you want to get going in order to make green and healthy activities the norm here in Frome. And if you don't have an idea or you don't have the time to get an idea off the ground, we understand, and there's absolutely space for you to simply join in. So it may be that you just want to fill the time that you have with attending, with joining in activities. And so part of this program will mean that we are able to offer regular free workshops, events and activities in partnership with community groups, with the ones who've had the ideas, that help people make green and healthy choices and undertake green and healthy activities here in town. And while we are continuing to live through COVID, so that we're offering something for the town during this time as people start to be able to come out a bit more, we have partnered with Ding, a local group who have already started up activities to help people to fix their bikes. So Ding are really committed to getting bikes out of garages, out of sheds that are broken and haven't been used for a while. And they're really committed to upskilling people in how to fix their own bike. And they also offer people to drop in and to get their bike fixed and get advice at the same time from the Ding team. So from May, we'll have regular pop-ups once a week at the weekends, springing up all around Frome to just kickstart people being able to use bikes that they already have that have broken for whatever reason. And that will be the first of our regular free workshops for people to get involved with here in town that enable them to make the shift from car to a bike or to just get out and get more active over the summer. And you'll be able to see on our website a regular flow of these events. And as time goes on, we'll have this wonderful pipeline of ideas turning into reality, and that will really fill our future shed with lots of exciting free workshops and activities for people to get involved in. So you might have already seen, and you might have already put an idea on our virtual ideas board. This is what it looks like. And if you have an idea after today, after we've closed our breakout groups today, the time is not over for sharing ideas. We're keeping this open for the time being for several weeks and months to come over the summer, where we can keep collecting your ideas. So you may have one in the shower tomorrow morning, or a couple of weeks from now, following a chat from a friend, and we would invite you to post your idea there. Today, we're going to use a slightly different system, which is really useful for us to use during breakout groups in a really focused way, where we're going to drill down into each of these areas to fill the future shed with ideas. We're going to have a bit of an ideas cafe, and we're going to invite your ideas related to one of these 5 areas. So this just helps us kind of really richly, in a really deep way, think about where could there be green and healthy practical activities or groups doing things to improve how easy it is to live green and healthy lives in relation to our transport, to our buildings and energy, our food, the health activities that we do, and community activities that we do. Community activities, it's a big bucket. It could be any touch points across the community where there's some kind of group forming or community infrastructure. So that could be schools, but it could be sports groups or meeting in the market or anything like that. It's a wide group, so room for lots of ideas. We're going to invite you to rotate across 2 groups. That's what we've got time for today. And you're going to be invited to spend 15 minutes per group sharing your ideas. We're keen to create some smaller groups for you so that you can have a really rich discussion with each other across 2 of these 5 groups in a few minutes' time. We're going to use this platform. It's called Mural. And when you click on the link that will appear in a moment, you're going to see this screen. So this screen is our mural board, which is another place where you can share ideas. And we're just having it open for today's session. So up until now, you might have posted an idea on our online ideas board. And after today, you can go to our online ideas board and post an idea there. But for today's session, we're using Mural. Mural is like a big white whiteboard. And you can zoom in and zoom out of it. This is it at its most zoomed out point. And when you join a breakout group, one of the 5, we're going to ask you to zoom in to one of these 5 areas. And then we're going to ask you if you've got new ideas or you know of groups and activities that are already happening, if you could write them down on a post-it note that appears on this board. And we would just love your ideas across each of these parts of our town. If you don't end up in a group where you've got a really great idea, there's lots of opportunities to keep feeding your ideas through to us. And we plan to have lots and lots of conversations over the coming weeks, months, and indeed 2 years that our program is going to run for. We're a few months into that, so it'll be about 1 year and 9 months from now, where we can continue hearing your ideas and really filling the future shed with them and using that as a really practical space where we can make those ideas into reality. So welcome back. Thank you for another burst of ideas. It's been just wonderful to look at that mural wall filling up with everyone's ideas. There are so many, I could see it bursting off the sides of the mural. That's perfect. It's exactly what we want. And I know that, you know, it's a fantastic kind of flourishing idea of ideas at the beginning. We won't lose any of them. I will be painstakingly reading through every single one over the next few days and weeks, and we'll be making sure that they all go into our ideas in the feature shed.